How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Weebs of the Ring podcast. As you guys are coming in, we will be starting our show here. And no Vash tonight, so unfortunately, no Stampede for you all tonight. But we still got a show. We got tons of matches to go through, a lot of story to talk about. But let's just kind of dive in. It's going to be me, it's going to be Drop, and it's going to be you guys in the chat. We're going to have some fun tonight because with anime in our souls and thoughts of wrestling just way out of control, tonight we are a duo of weebs who love the entertainment of professional wrestling. So allow us to be the voices inside of your head as we go through the wrestling events of the evening, give our thoughts and predictions on what's to come, and provide an experience inclusive to all nerds. So grab your steel chair, yell for the table, get put through an experience like none other. Brought to you by AniMa W3 Studio. This is the Weebs of the Ring podcast. And as always, people, we've got two of our lovely panelists of hosts. First of all, of course, your boy, your world champion Watkins is here to lay down some SmackDown knowledge or Raw knowledge, just depending on the evening and all that. And of course, we have my other co-host here. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the chat.
So as you guys know, this is Drop by me and Vash and Watkins come on here all the time to talk about whatever happens on Raw, whatever happens on SmackDown. And honestly, like what I mainly cared about was the main stories that we pay attention to in Raw tonight. Everything else to me is just whatever.
Yeah, pretty much. like it was a good Raw, but like not too much to really talk about or like really sink your teeth into, barring like a couple things that we'll get into here in a second. But yeah, like I said, Vash is unfortunately not here with us tonight. He has some big boy job things to do in the morning time, so he's got to take some time to rest up on that. So Vash, hopefully you have a good morning when you listen to us talk about Monday Night Raw. But yeah, chat, hopefully you're doing good as well. It's a good Monday. Drop, how was your day? How was your Monday?
It's pretty good. Just happy to be home, relaxing.
Lucky. I wish I was at home relaxing today. Like,
oh no, well, I had to work earlier, but
gotcha. Yeah. No, I had my full day of work, and I wish I wasn't there. But that's besides the point. So let's just kind of go into Raw, because there's a couple things to talk here. Mainly, like as always, we got the Judgment Day doing their thing.
Yeah. I kind of feel like we should go over the main topic of conversation that's been going around for like the past couple weeks.
Oh, about a certain Flippy Boy.
Yeah, because that's the reason why I wanted to include it in the video title today.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Yeah. So I guess basically the biggest news to come from this weekend is the fact that Ricochet is not signing with WWE anymore. He's going to be gone from the company after tonight, basically. And yeah, this actually came as a shock to me. I figured Ricochet would be in the WWE for a bit, like kind of doing the AJ Styles route of possibly retiring in WWE. I don't know. Did you think he would just stay there and just kind of ride his career out? Did you see him leaving? Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I didn't see him leaving, to be honest. Like, that really caught me off guard because I knew that his contract was expiring this year, and this webcam's like really starting to piss me off. I'm not sure why the color keeps going away.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it completely caught me off guard that he was going to be leaving the company, because when I saw him having his contract expiring in the summer, I was like, okay, he's probably going to resign because he's been here forever. So I didn't really expect him to leave. But then when he came out himself and said, "Oh yeah, we're going to be leaving, I'm going to be leaving the WWE," I was like, okay, that's actually very interesting. So it kind of makes me curious to see like where he goes. Like, obviously a lot of people are thinking he's going to be heading to AEW because that's the other option that he could really go to if he wants to. Like, if you want to go to like another wrestling show, otherwise, you have New Japan, or if he wants to go to TNA, he could also go there as well. But I'm honestly shocked, to be honest. And I felt like what we saw tonight, and the reason why I wanted to talk about it first is because I know a lot of people that are probably putting out their little episode reviews. They're probably talking about that first as well. So I thought it would only be fitting if we talk about it as well, because coming out of Raw, besides the main stories, that's like the main one that's been circulating around. And yeah, I'm just honestly curious to see what he does from here. Like, this was obviously, and we'll dive a little bit more into it later, but this was obviously, especially what we saw tonight, his swan song in like WWE, because that's their typical thing they do whenever they write someone off of TV.
Exactly. And I mean, you know, we could just talk about it all right now. I mean,
yeah, we might as well, honestly.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, we'll stick with like this whole Ricochet thing, because like, yeah, the news came out. What was it like? It was Saturday, wasn't it? Like, it was Sunday or Saturday it came out, because I remember like sharing the tweet in our group chats and all that. Like, I wasn't expecting this at all. Like, I figured he would at least be with them at least another couple years, like do a little extension. But yeah, I'm kind of in the boat that thinks he's going to be in AEW. I think that would actually be a really good fit for Ricochet,
especially with what Will Ospreay recently said too.
And I think that was kind of the kicker for all of this, was Will Ospreay's little message, which, I mean, on one hand, I see where he was coming from with, you know, wanting Ricochet to be Ricochet again, which I get that. You know, I remember seeing those tapes. Hell, I even remember Ricochet's NXT run. Like, even that Ricochet was a lot better than what we got on the main roster. But yeah, ever since Will Ospreay put that tweet out there, like, there was this weird energy going around with Ricochet, where it's just like, okay, is he going to be staying with the company? Like, he could leave. He could have like bangers outside of WWE, but he could also have bangers inside of WWE. So like, yeah, it was this weird. It was this weird, like, just cloud hanging over everybody. Like, okay, like, is he actually leaving? And then the reports were coming out saying, oh yeah, he is leaving. Like, he is looking to just leave the company. It's like, okay. Where is that? Where is he going to go then? Okay, is he going to stay in AEW? Where is this leave Samantha too? Because she's engaged to Ricochet. Like,
yeah,
and I get it. You know, people can have different jobs in different places and all that. I get that, but like, the wrestling sphere is a little different in that aspect. You know?
Oh yeah, I get that.
Because like, it's not like, you know, one's going to Raw, one's going to SmackDown. No, this is like two different companies. But I guess like we kind of had that too with like Charlotte and Andrade being together, and then also in different companies. So I mean, it could work, but I mean, that's their own personal business.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, that's like, I know a lot of people are also saying, like you said, like, oh, is Samantha going to be going with him as well? I think like, obviously it's up to her at the end of the day, because it's not our decisions to choose like where they go. But I mean, I don't think she is, but at the same time, like I said, I don't know. But I mean, if you saw recently, and I finally updated the thumbnail, but if you saw recently with with what they did with the Lillian Garcia, where they wouldn't bring Lillian out there and have like this little passing of the torch moment with her and Samantha, if they weren't gonna like keep Samantha there on the show. Like, I'm pretty sure even Samantha and Ricochet themselves were aware that his contract was expiring way before it started making like headlines. A lot of people were talking about it online, but it's like, I mean, at least to me, I don't think she's going anywhere, but that's not really up to me. But I don't see a reason for her to leave, because you do have people in other companies. Like, once Rhea comes back, you know, she's not going to be going to AEW or anything just because Buddy's over there. Like, her fiance's over there. And I would assume when his contract's up, he's probably going to end up heading back to the company. But
kind of hope so, but that's a whole other topic.
But it's like, I don't know. Like, I think like the main thing we should really be focusing on is like just what Ricochet might be doing.
Mm-hmm.
in this whole scenario. So
Yeah. Yeah, and again, like it's all up to him. I mean, he's the one that makes the decision. He's the one to show us what he's going to be doing after WWE. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to be following his career after this, wherever he ends up. I mean, more than likely AEW, which I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
you yeah,
There really isn't any other
um,
option.
really not. I mean, the TNA maybe, but like
I mean,
even
yeah,
still,
yeah, I
yeah,
could see him going there, but I feel like I hate to say this again because I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but I kind of wish that Tony Khan would just take some time to actually focus on his homegrown talent instead of always trying to scoop up every
yep,
free agent that comes out of WWE, because I already know that's going to be one of the first people that he's going to be getting, because there is other contracts in WWE ending this year, and definitely I would assume Ricochet is going to be a person he's going to try to get, because he's going to want to do
oh
Ricochet and
yeah,
Ospreay match. He's going to want to do Ricochet and Kenny Omega. He's going to want to
hmm
do Ricochet and MJF and Ricochet and Rush and a bunch of other wrestlers over there, Ricochet and Swerve. He's obviously going to want to do a lot of matches like that. He's probably going to want to keep putting him in a with that what is that their mid card belts that they have over there. Probably wants him competing for those.
yeah. Which one?
Um,
Like,
I forgot. Like I know there's one that
mhm. So they have
Okada
like,
has, and then I know there's one that Osprey currently
mhm.
has.
Yeah, it's like the Continental title. They have the TNT title, and then I think it's called the Triple Crown, or it's something else. Um, yeah, like there's three mid card titles for AEW, and I mean that's just crazy when you think about it in itself. But it's like, yeah, there's a plethora of things that Ricochet can be doing. Hey, jokester, you wanted to pop in to say
Oh, what's
this.
up,
What are you
Joker?
saying? What are you saying, jokester? Ricochet is leaving. I can't have shit in this house. I know, dude. Hey, don't worry. He'll be on AEW and he'll have a great couple month run where he's always on TV and always doing something, and then he won't get booked for a while, or he'll be stuck on Collision. And let's be honest, who actually watches Collision? Like, I,
Yeah.
now, granted, that's just me being me. I know people watch it. It's just you don't really hear much about Collision unless it's like Edge doing something.
I gotta edit the title real quick. I accidentally put Liz instead of Liv. But yeah.
Tomato, tomato. Also, what's up, Oblivion? I see you out there in the chat. Hopefully, you're having a good night as well.
Mhm.
Uh yeah, jokester. My chest hurts too from all of that. But how did Ricochet go out exactly? Well, we did have a match that kind of tied into this story here. So this whole story with like Braun Breaker and all that, like basically trying to find legitimate competition because hey, he didn't get put in the King of the Ring and he's mad. So he beat up Ricochet last week, and this week he's looking to beat up Ilya Dragunov. Which hey, we just got Dragunov versus Braun Breaker on free TV. How you feeling about that? Since if you remember, especially if you guys are like long-term listeners here, you might remember one of us being very, 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 very upset that we didn't get Gunther versus Dragunov, even though people were just like, "Oh well, we can't get that on free TV." We just got Ilya versus Braun Breaker on free TV, and it was
Yeah,
awesome.
exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
come on, why couldn't we get? Anyways, that's in the past. That's in the past. That's in the past. How you feeling about this Braun Breaker Ilya Dragunov match? Because it was good. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the match, and I'm glad that they're actually showcasing Braun Breaker the proper way. Because my biggest issue of how they were showing him before, they kept putting him in a whole bunch of like jobber matches and stuff. And I get you want to showcase his strength. I get you want to show everybody like how strong he is and how he's like a human wrecking ball, like Jokester said in the chat.
Mhm.
But it's like it's just the way that he was being displayed before. We're obviously not going to look at it like this, but casual fans, because for the most part, if I'm being 100% honest, WWE appeals to the casual fans because they know they'll eat up
Yeah.
anything that they throw at them. So if you continue to book Braun Breaker in like squash matches where he's constantly beating these people within like 30 seconds or so, people aren't going to really take him seriously. They're going to be like, oh, this is just another Goldberg. He has like 3 moves and that's it. So at least with the match we had tonight, actually showcased how far Braun Breaker could go when you put him in there in the ring with a competitor like Ilya Dragunov, which we already know is great. And I also saw their match last year in NXT, and I'm glad that was mentioned on commentary by Michael Cole, where they also had another explosive match, because I remember that match going on for like a good 20 to 25 minutes or so. I could be wrong in the time, but I remember it being like 15, 20, 25 minutes, but it was a very long match. And when it was announced that these two were going to have another match tonight, I was like, okay, that's actually like pretty damn awesome.
Yeah, like, and I was kind of the same way too. It's like, okay, we're gonna revisit this rivalry, which again, I kind of like you. I'm glad that Cole referenced this. Like, Cole's been very good with like referencing some of the past with some of these stars. Oh, what was it? Well, that was a story later on that we'll talk about with Otis mentioning older people.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm just glad we're tying everything from the past, because hey, sometimes you forget things, sometimes you don't. But it is always good to have that little reminder. But yeah, man, this match was this was class. Like a lot of just like hard hitting action, especially especially for both of them. I mean, but it's like a different hard hitting, because like you have Ilya, who's just like attack after attack after attack, like so many strikes. Like there was that one point where he's just like laying in chops on Braun in the corner, and yet you have Braun, whose hard hitting action is just explosive offense. And I, I I don't know if I've said it on here before, but like I think my favorite part with Braun's offense and like his explosiveness is the fact that his body just keeps going after an attack. So it's like he'll hit like that like very very explosive clothesline, but it's like his body like still keeps going, but like it's also kind of still like stiff a bit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah. So like I don't know, it's so cool just watching Braun, just how he controls his body. But yeah, again, this was a really good match. I don't know how you felt, especially like during like that table spot with the announce table.
Oh, I love this match, honestly.
Mhm.
Like, it's honestly my match of the night. No surprise there, because as soon as I knew that Braun Breaker and Ilya Dragunov were gonna have a match, that was my automatic match of the night. It's kind of hard not to say that
Mhm.
being a match of the night, but I love this match. Both of them are great wrestlers, and I'm glad that they were actually able to showcase what they're capable of. Like I already mentioned earlier, I'm not going to get into it again. But Braun Breaker, well, he's finally being used properly. He's not like walking around just beating up people in like 30 seconds. He's actually being showcased in a match. So at least I'm hoping with the audience that they actually can see that Braun Breaker has a lot of potential, and this is somebody that you should be focusing on moving forward.
Yeah, and if they don't see, they're gonna see. Especially with Jokester here saying like with the speed that Braun like picks up, like it's crazy. Like I mean, I know he didn't do his little like 23 mile an hour go between the ropes and all that, but like even still, like just him just picking up speed into a run, like from a run to a sprint to just going right through you. Like the
Mm.
man is a beast, and he's gonna be a force to be reckoned with. And I mean, I'm sure you saw some of the reports this weekend as well, with them saying that Braun's going to be a big focal point going into the Netflix era for Raw. And yeah, I can see it, and I'm on board with it. Like I am all for the Braun Breaker train.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm definitely expecting that, especially with what we recently saw, like with the whole spot with him and Ricochet in the back. Like that's starting to remind me of like some old school stuff that they used to do. So I'm glad that they're heading
Hmm.
down that direction, and that's honestly a good thing for them, because if you look at it like this, when you go into that Netflix era, you got to make sure that you have a lot of explosive stuff, because at least when they go into Netflix, things aren't going to be censored. So you're not going to hear like holy, like you could actually hear
Yeah.
people say holy shit. Because the reason why I don't like that when it gets censored, because this is wrestling at the end of the day. Let it be wrestling. Everybody knows what shit is. Everybody knows what damn is. Everybody knows
Yep.
what bitch is. All this kind of stuff. I'm not going to say a whole bunch of cuss words in the video, but you get what I'm trying to say. It's like, if you come off more organically, kind of like how I am when I record my videos. I don't script anything. I just go off the dome because I want to go off
Yeah.
organically, so people know who I am as a person, so people can hear my overall thoughts as I'm talking. That's kind of how it is at wrestling. People want to show emotion as they're watching their matches. People want to say, if they see like some crazy spot, just like how you saw in the back with that whole encounter that Ricochet had with Braun Breaker, people are going to look at it and be like, holy shit, and they're just going to keep chanting it over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And then if something, and then obviously if something goes down to Gable, because Gable has a lot of good heat on him, which came off organically, which is great, people are going to be like, F you Gable, F you Gable, F you Gable. So at least with Netflix, you could actually, like, I would assume, see things in a different light. Like I feel like you'll probably be able to tell the difference right away as soon as everything
Oh
gets
yeah.
started with that.
Yeah. And oh shoot, there was something else I wanted to add with all that. Shoot, and now I'm forgetting it. Oh, dang it. I can't remember now. Son of a bitch. Oh yeah, that's it. Okay, like that's the other thing too. When you're there live, they're not
Yeah.
censoring it live when you're at the stadium. Like
Mm-mm.
there's kids at the stadium that's hearing this stuff shouted. Like, come on. Let's ease up a little bit, studios. Let's ease up here a bit, companies and sponsors. Like, deal with it. Shit exists for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also glad too, like, because we saw a few finishers in this match, but we didn't see a lot of near falls from those finishers. Like, we saw the H bomb, we saw like Braun hitting, like it took 3 spears to finally put Dragunov away, but Dragunov wasn't kicking out of those spears. Like, it was actually like, okay, we're gonna hit the finisher, but we're so just beat up from the match that we can't capitalize on the pin, and the other person has already started to roll out of the ring. Like, we saw a lot of good just ring awareness in this match, showing that like this was a good showcase for not only Braun Breaker since he won, but also for Dragunov as well. Like, this is another good showcase of just what he's like in the ring, because his style, like, with his hard-hitting style that he has, he can also adapt on the fly with whoever he's in the ring with. Like, mainly with how he sets up his some of his moves, like that I forgot what he calls it. It's like that 619 thing that he does and goes into the clothesline. Like,
Was that Hurricanrana thing he does?
no, not really. It's just like, because like Braun like threw him to the ropes, and then Ilya like did like a almost like a 619 kind of move, and then he hit him with a clothesline that finally like got him down. And Cole made some name for it, but I forgot what he said.
Yeah.
Anyways, like, it's like things like that, or like that like squatting insecurity kick that Ilya does. But then like you look at Braun Breaker too, it's just like with his explosive offense, like it can just come out of nowhere. Like, the first spear he does just comes out of nowhere. Man. But yeah, it took 3 spears to finally get Dragunov out of the way, and Braun does try to go and like put him through the barricade with a spear, but that's when Ricochet attacks. And I'm kind of glad they did it this way, because like it kind of put a little seed of doubt in a lot of people, thinking, oh wait, I thought they were writing Ricochet off tonight. What? Like, there were a couple of tweets I saw that was just like, oh, haha, I told you guys, he's not
Guys,
going
I know
anywhere.
exactly what you're referring to.
Yep, I actually bookmarked it because I need to go back to see how how that dude responded after it. Oh man. But speaking of which, we go later on in the night. Ricochet's helping Ilya backstage because, hey, Ilya took like 3 Braun Breaker spears. Like, surprised the guy is still intact.
This just shows how
Um,
strong he is.
yeah, exactly. See, again, like, you can look good in defeat, and Ilya Dragunov does a great job with that. And yeah, unfortunately, Vash's fan, your senpai is not here tonight, unfortunately. But don't worry, you'll catch him here in the next video. Don't worry.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Braun ends up finding the two backstage, takes out Ilya, and so there were a couple of scary spots with this Ricochet beatdown. The first one, at least for me, was when he fell to the concrete floor and his head kind of bounced.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, that was a little more brutal than the car spot. Like, at least for me, because like that was freaking concrete. Oh man, what are you Fascist fan? What are you doing? What are you doing here? Making us fan noises and all that. But yeah, then Braun puts him through a car. Hopefully that was real glass that they used. And yeah, that's how we're writing off Ricochet. How do you feel about this being the Ricochet write-off?
I mean, I felt like if they were going to do something about it, they might as well do it now. Rumors are circulating online like crazy. So if they want to like capitalize in some way, I would assume they would probably do it like this. Like I didn't expect it this soon. Like I thought we were gonna wait a little bit in like maybe sometime in July or August, or he was gonna have like some sort of last match. I definitely didn't expect it to happen tonight.
No, yeah, especially this quick too. But I'm kind of glad too because that's the thing. Like sometimes you would get that final match, you would get that send off where they put somebody over and all that, and that's fine and great and all that. But like, I don't know, this right here, I think this is kind of fitting, especially with like the story that they're trying to push with Braun Breaker. So this is a good way to like still like put him over a bit, but also like do something new, do something different for Ricochet's send off here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, so Ricochet is basically gone from the company. Again, like we were talking about earlier, seems like speculations are leaning towards AEW. We'll still have to wait and find out with that. But I guess the last thing I want to ask really quick, because since this is Ricochet's end of his WWE run, how do we feel about his WWE run? I mean, he was with the company since what was it, 20? I want to say 2017, 2018 time.
Yeah, I think around there.
Yeah, like he was in the company for a long time. So how do we feel about his run?
I mean, I kind of wish he did a little more, only because I feel like he has a lot of potential. That's probably one of the main reasons why he's leaving the company, so he can go out there and adventure in new companies, and he could actually showcase more of his talents. Because if you little fettuccine 68 Ricochet better not go to AEW. Well, the thing,
yeah.
Well, the thing is, honestly, at the end of the day, it's not really up to us where he goes, but that's the only option I could really see him going. I mean, he could go to TNA, he could go back to New Japan, but if he were to go anywhere, I would assume AEW. But it's like I said before, and I'm going to keep on saying it numerous times throughout the life of this podcast. I just feel like Tony needs to really focus on what he has there now instead of bringing more and more people, because it's just another topic of discussion. It's just, you have homegrown talent there. You don't need to keep bringing everybody that's on the market. That's all I'm going to say. But it's like, overall, like I mentioned, I wish he did do some good stuff. I mean, he had a U.S. title run, he had an intercontinental title run and stuff like that. So it's not like he came in here and didn't win any championships or had any sort of accomplishments or anything like that under his belt. He did. I just wish he was showcased a little bit more, and he wasn't always used in like certain matches just to get beat up and like lose like that, because we obviously know he's a good wrestler and he's capable of doing many things. So I would absolutely just I think the main highlight for me that got me really into Ricochet again was probably last year of him and Logan Paul. Because like other than that,
Yeah,
like after stuff ended when once Gunther took his title, he really didn't have any sort of direction for his character
yeah,
until
that. Mhm.
that moment with Logan.
Yeah, and that's I'm kind of in the same boat as you too. It's like he had a good run with that IC title, but then yeah, as soon as Gunther took it from him, I mean, he was kind of directionless for a bit. Then he had that team with Braun Strowman that I mean it started to gain traction, but like as soon as it did, Braun got injured, and then Ricochet was left basically to fend for himself, really. Um, yeah, and I also agree, Lil Fettuccine, because there's a reason I haven't watched Dynamite in a few months. But again, maybe maybe one day we'll have an AEW special where we're just gonna just bitch about it, because because there's a lot of stuff that I love about AEW, but there's also a lot of stuff that I just do not like about AEW. So, maybe we'll have a special stream one day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, for me, yeah, again, I'm kind of in the same boat where it's just like there was always a part of me that felt like he was held back a lot. And I mean, I'm assuming that's mainly has to do with Vince, for one. And then by the time Triple H got up there, it's like, okay, especially like what was it, like 2022 when Vince first was gone from the company. uh Triple H was still trying to do things, but it's like he couldn't because Vince was still like in his ear. And by the time Triple H was finally able to do something, it was probably one of those instances where it's a little too late, and Ricochet was just probably ready to just move on and kind of do a little bit more things. I think kind of like the same mindset as Edge had, where it's like, I want to end my career going out in a blaze of glory.
Yeah.
Okay, look, hold on. Okay, hold on. Oblivion. I need to. Okay, you know what? Quick tangent here. Quick tangent, okay? Because you brought up Tony Storm. Quick little tangent, and then we're gonna move on. Tony Storm, timeless Tony Storm. It should be a gimmick I would be behind. It should be, but I don't know why I can't get behind it. I don't know why I can't. Like, I want to, and it's something that I should be behind because it's something that I know I would like, but like, damn, I cannot get behind it. I cannot. I don't know how much you know about the whole gimmick drop.
No. Oh, I know about it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like that,
I've been following it for a while.
yeah, it's like I get it, but especially now with the um Nina stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like that shit's right up my alley. Why am I not into it? Why am I not like into that shit? I don't get it. I don't get my mindset when it comes to that. Anyways, that was a quick little tangent. Why is Braun Strowman even back? I can't with him since he won tag
We might
titles
as
with
well.
Nicholas.
Yeah, you might as well talk about that now.
What?
Moving on to the Judgment Day segment that opened up the
Oh yeah.
show, we could talk about the tag match and all that.
Oh yeah, that's actually where we're ending up because the Judgment Day had a big evening tonight, didn't they?
Yeah, so we see Drew open up the show because obviously we have to build up that match between him and Priest this Saturday. I'm still gonna come out and say that I don't think Drew is winning only because WWE, when it comes to people in their hometowns, they don't always give them the best birthday gift. They end up going home empty handed. And I obviously know that we still have that whole feud with Punk. So I don't really see Drew having a title going up against Punk. Could it have a title? Sure, but I don't really think the
Mhm.
feud really needs a title. Plus, you also have to factor in Gunther. He has an automatic title shot at SummerSlam. And you don't really want to get Punk, Gunther, and Drew involved with each other. Would it be cool to see all of them in the ring? Sure, but it would just be kind of silly to just throw Gunther in there just because he has a world title shot. So I feel like if you wanted to make a story, you could honestly easily make a story out of like Gunther and Damian Priest saying, okay, I carried the Intercontinental Championship for over 666 days. I, the kind of person I am is what represents a real champion. Who are you? Like you
Mhm.
could easily build off like, okay, who's a real champion? Gunther can play off of that. He can make fun of like Priest's reign and just call him a paper champion, just like how Drew McIntyre did. But those are my little thoughts on there. But I think like the most interesting part out of this segment that I did like was probably what we saw with Liv Morgan later on backstage. Because
Oh
this
yeah.
segment really wasn't much. It was just throwing a couple lines there, just going over like, okay, this is our match. We got to build up some momentum for it and everything. But what really like caught my interest is what we saw with Dom and Liv in the back, where we saw Dom and Liv in the Judgment Day Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, and
Yay.
I think that's the thing that I've been very focused on, because like I mentioned
Mhm.
before, when we jump into these shows, there's only certain things I really look forward to throughout the week, and that's the stuff that was going on at Braun, like we saw tonight, and also the stuff that's going out at Liv Morgan. And I really like it because I honestly, and I'm going to say it again, I feel like this is the best Liv has looked in her career. I really like how Liv is being showcased right now, because
Mhm.
whenever she's on screen, I'm actually really interested to see like what sort of direction the story is going to take, because now that she has Rhea's title, now she's going to continue even further on her whole revenge tour, and she's trying to get to Dominic. So that's pretty much like the next stage. And I really like how we have that whole interaction between the both of them. And she was really trying to push Dom to go to her hotel later, which was very funny. It made me laugh. I was in the middle of like editing one of my videos as I was watching this, and it was
Oh
just very
dude.
funny because it's like it's just so weird. I expect stuff like this out of WWE, but it's like just like seeing it happen, it just catches me off guard sometimes. But
Mhm.
I like the line she threw in there where she's like, why be with someone who makes you call them mommy when you could have a girl who would call you daddy? I started laughing at that
Oh
because
dude.
it,
Dude.
it was
Dude.
just really funny to me.
Dude, I swear. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and ignorant children of the Isles, let me spin you a tale really quick. So, I had a very late dinner tonight, and I got inside. I sat down on my computer. It was at about like 8:10, I think it was, and I'm like, all right, let's turn on Raw immediately. I didn't get a chance to pause it, so yeah, I missed the first 10 minutes, so I missed that little promo segment. Doesn't sound like I missed much. Cool, great. The first
You
thing I
didn't.
see is Dominic Mysterio on my screen. I'm like, oh great, Dom's here. How am I gonna hate him this time? And that's when I get to see this wonderful, beautiful scene of her being like, I could call you daddy. And I'm just sitting there like, Dom, Dom, don't make me hate you even more than I already do. Like, don't don't make me put you in the Momonosuke corner. There's a reason that the Momonosuke corner exists. And for all you One Piece fans out there, the Momonosuke corner is the fact that he was on the ship and he got to be with Robin and Nami. That's all. I'm gonna leave it there. So yeah, fuck you, Dom. But hey, Liv's gonna give him the key to her hotel room because yeah, we just need even more of all that. But so that's basically like the biggest thing for this whole night is just this hotel key card that the Judgment Day just won't throw away in the trash. They still hold on to it all night
Yeah,
to
Finn
the
managed to
point
take it.
where, yeah, he tried to be sneaky with it, but it's just like, nah, we all saw what you did, Finn. We all saw
Yeah.
you take that. So it's like, okay, we're tying it back to Finn and Liv because if you guys remember, there is a bit of history with Finn and Liv there from back when the
Mm-hmm.
Judgment Day first started.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited for that. And I also like too, especially from the stance of like the internet community with everything. Like, Liv kind of is in the right with all this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she was the one that was betrayed way back when by Rhea. Like, Rhea, like, brutally attacked her, like, held her in that submission and all that. Liv was also injured by Rhea too. Like, Liv is justified in all of her actions, but like, it's kind of like that Drew McIntyre thing, where he's kind of justified in his actions. It's like, okay, I get why you're angry. I get that. However, you're kind of being an asshole about it, but I get it, you know? And so Liv's pretty much doing that right here. And there is a reason I brought up Drew here. Just gonna go on a little side part here. Little Fettuccine brought up this. So if Punk interferes with Drew's match, does that make Punk the heel moving forward after Clash? Um, See, this is one of those weird, like, grayish areas with all this, because it's like sometimes in our modern day wrestling, we don't really have a de facto face or heel. It's really just, which asshole do you want to follow? Which asshole do you like better?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, honestly, the way
Oh,
I
yeah.
look at it, because Punk already did it before. Because if you recall, when uh, Jay was trying to get his championship opportunity, was like Jay and Drew, and whoever won
Hmm.
that match had a title shot against Damian Priest, and obviously Jay won that match because Punk interfered and he grabbed Drew's leg, so he wasn't able to capitalize there.
Yeah.
So it's like we've already seen Punk do it before, so I can't really say that Punk would be a heel in that scenario because he wasn't a heel when he did that. And they
Hmm.
obviously just have it's just a heated feud. So no
Yeah.
matter what, and the thing is, like, when it comes to somebody like costing somebody a match and interfering, it's not really like one of those things where it's like, okay, this person's a heel, this is a face. It's just a common thing. You don't like the guy, you're gonna screw over the other guy. That's just how it
Hmm.
is. That's how I personally look at it.
Yeah.
So for me personally, like the way that I'm looking at it, I would assume it would just be a segue to be like, okay, it seems like Punk is ready now. I would assume he's probably ready because he looks ready.
Hmm.
And I would assume this is just telling us, like, okay, we got to get Drew doing something else because the World Heavyweight Championship is going to be like Gunther's main story moving forward. And we already have this ongoing storyline between Drew and Punk. So I would assume that would just be, if he does interfere this Saturday in the match, I would assume it would just be a way to showcase, like, okay, this is just us moving forward with this feud because obviously they spent a lot of time on it, and at this point they're just waiting for Punk to come back so they could fully kickstart. And I feel like he's probably going to be there this Saturday. I feel like that's probably going to be the main reason why Drew McIntyre wins. Because if you ask me, oh hey, who would win between Drew or McIntyre? I mean, yeah, who would win? I'm starting to do a Carmelo Hayes on
I
you,
know.
but it's like, who would
Come
win
on, LA. Can
between
you face LA? Like, nah.
but it would be like, who would win between Drew and Damian Priest? Obviously, I would say that Drew McIntyre would win, but
Yeah.
it's like Punk's obviously going to factor in this.
Yeah, and especially what we get later on in the night, which we can just kind of talk about right here really quick. Finn Balor faces Drew McIntyre, and if Drew wins, the Judgment Day is banned from ringside. And obviously, Drew won, even with Judgment Day trying to interfere. Now, a couple of things with this match, besides, the end result kind of foreshadowing this CM Punk costing Drew, because I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of what I got from this whole stipulation. It's like, oh, Judgment Day's not gonna be there to help Priest. Who else is gonna help Priest? Who else doesn't like Drew McIntyre? Oh wait, CM Punk. Um, but yeah, so we had the Judgment Day interfering in that match, but where was Dom?
He was, yeah,
He was yeah, Yeah, he was in a hotel room.
Oh wait, was he not actually shown there?
I don't think so. Like, because I remember seeing JD and I remember seeing Carlito.
Yeah, I remember
But
seeing that.
I don't think Dom was out there.
Oh, then where'd he get the key card from? Unless Finn gave it to him. But that would
See,
really make sense.
yeah, unless he like slipped it to him or something. I don't know. All I'm saying is Dom wasn't out there. At least I didn't see Dom out there. If I'm crazy, people, let me know in the chat because I don't remember seeing Dom out there.
No, I don't remember.
So little Fettuccine would have loved a trade for AJ and Gunther. Rather not see Gunther versus Priest, and plus AJ would do better on Raw. He needs a big win. I agree. I love AJ Styles, and I want him to win and do well. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they could still do it, and we end up getting Gunther versus Cody at SummerSlam.
I mean, that'd be a pretty big match, but I'm still thinking they're probably gonna want to build prestige with the World Heavyweight Championship, and they know Gunther is trusted to take it down that direction. That's why I would assume he's probably gonna stay in Raw. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not a match that really like throws anything at me where I'm like, holy shit, we're getting Drew McIntyre, we're getting Gunther versus Damian Priest. It's not anything that like throws anything at me, but it's like it's the only direction I could really see them going now because I don't really expect Drew to be involved in this if Punk is around because they're gonna want to extend that feud.
Yeah. So, and like for me, at least the way I kind of see it going down, like the trajectory, the road that the World Heavyweight title goes down, like this is kind of how I'm envisioning it. I see Gunther getting it at SummerSlam. I see him holding it until like Royal Rumble time, where a returning Seth Rollins comes back.
Oh, you get that at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine Seth and Gunther at WrestleMania.
Oh no! I'm thinking Seth Punk at Mania.
Oh, okay. I mean, I wouldn't mind that either.
Yeah. So, because I think like Seth Gunther at like a bigger stage, like Royal Rumble, would be fine. Because again, that's a big stage there. Gunther would have held the title for a bit. He would have had like some banger matches because I mean it's freaking Gunther with a world title now. He had banger matches as an IC champion. He can have even bigger and better matches as world champion. And I mean, Seth Rollins, I mean, this would be a great way for him to get that title back since he was like that. I mean, again, he was the first world heavyweight champion of this iteration of it. And just the work he put in for that title. And even after losing that title, like him coming back and beating Gunther for it, I wouldn't be mad at it, to be honest. But I might just be on my own lonely island with that. Who knows? Oh, man. But you know what? That's not all the Judgment Day had, you know, because, again, with that Finn Balor Drew McIntyre match, I thought it was really good. I thought that Finn looked amazing in that match. I think probably the best he's looked in a while. I don't know. Again, that might just be me too, but like, because he was like all over the place in a good way though. Like, he was probably the quickest I've seen Finn in a long time, you know. But I don't know, like it was just really good. Like there was this one counter he did where like Drew was gonna do like this. I think it was like a spinning thigh slam or whatever, but Finn ended up like countering it into that I forgot what he calls it, but it's like that thing where like he has him first DDT, but then he like gets elbow over and all that. It was just a really good counter for whatever Drew was gonna do. But yeah, and then ended up taking that pinfall.
I want to see him get a win down the line.
Everybody. Oh yeah, he needs one. Like ever since. At least for me, ever since he lost to Edge at Mania in that Hell in a Cell match, Finn has not felt the same.
I felt like he should have won that, to be honest.
he should have. Like, I don't understand why Edge. Like, I get it because you want to get your babyface a big win and all that, but it's like Edge at that point in his career was at a point where he needed to be putting people over, and Finn needed that win, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Robot. Am I roboting for you?
Let me replay the stream.
La. Yeah. I know sometimes with StreamYard.
Yeah, 45 seconds ago you were. I just replayed.
Okay, but I'm good now.
Yeah, you're good.
You good now? We Gucci. All right, good. Yeah, sometimes the signal for StreamYard is a little
Then they try to get you paying for better stuff.
Well, one day I'll have a good computer and not a laptop.
I'm saying like StreamYard tries having you pay your subscriptions. That's what I was saying.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they like to get the whole paid thing. But you know what? You know who didn't get payment tonight? Nah, Judgment Day didn't get any payment when they tried to face off against Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, and Braun Strowman. That didn't end up too well for them, did they?
Oh no.
Oh no,
it's just Strowman Express again.
Yeah. I mean, see, nothing really much for that match either. Like, we got a tease with Ray versus Dom again, but even that was just a tease. And I don't know, man. Like, I get it. We need the Judgment Day to do something. And hey, Dominic can actually have a match now, so that's cool. That's neat. But like, yeah, nothing much came from this except for one little spot. Actually, no, two, because I want to mention this too, because I thought it was really funny. When Braun Strowman, like, this was like beginning of the match, Braun Strowman tagged out and Rey Mysterio came in, but Michael Cole for like a whole minute or two thought it was Dragon Lee. So like he's just like, yeah, Dragon Lee now going after JD McDonough, and then he finally realizes he's just like, oh wait, that's Rey Mysterio. Excuse me, Rey Mysterio. And like Pat McAfee just kind of gives him shit for a little bit. I don't know. It was just kind of funny to me. But not that wasn't the only spot. No.
Did you see how Braun lifted up Zelina too?
I did. He was just so happy to win, dude. Like,
yeah.
And Zelina, I mean, she's light. She's a light person. Oh, man. But yeah, so those were just two of the spots. But there was a third spot. There was another spot that I just keep hinting at. It was Liv Morgan coming out again. She wanted to come out and try to help Dom a little bit. Boy, did she help him. Boy, did she help him with the help of Zelina Vega, mind you.
Oh yeah.
She leaned back in that. She leaned back.
Yeah, like, she fully embraced it.
She was just like, oh, and it's just like, Dom, I hate you. I hate you. It should have been me, not him. Oh my gosh. Just again, planting those seeds and trying to make Dominic be a weak little boy. Yeah, I mean, the Judgment Day's night, it was kind of, I don't want to say it was a lot of the same that we've been seeing, but like, I don't know. We're going to have to start like doing something soon, I guess. Like, I get it. This is part of like the whole long-term storytelling aspect of it, but like, you do get to a point where it's just like, okay, we get the setup. I understand it. Let's have some of the payoff, shall we? Which I think we'll near here soon. Yeah. But yeah, that was Judgment Day's night. It was a fun night for them, I guess. I don't know. It could always be fun when you're dealing with Braun Strowman, but I don't know. We had a lot of matches tonight too. Like, I counted them. We had like 7 matches tonight.
You know, we can go over. I think out of the other ones besides Sammy,
yeah,
that I really cared about was probably Io and Lyra because of one particular reason, like after the match, that got me interested in seeing what the future of Damage Control is going to be. And
Yes.
yeah,
Yes, which, that is exactly where we're going to next. We had Io Sky versus Lyra Valkyria again. So, I don't know. I think I kind of like their first match a little better, but this one at least had more of a story to it. Hold on, just changing our little banner here. Bam. Look at that. Look at that go. Io Sky versus Lyra Valkyria. Yeah, that's right. So, again, this match, like, Lyra had a lot of the offense going into this. Just kind of showing Damage Control that she's in control, and kind of showing Io that she has her number. But there was one spot with like Dakota interfering after Lyra hit her finisher, and I thought the ref would have seen it, but I guess Dakota was just too quick for him.
Yeah, that's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, like either that or she's like the greatest ninja who ever lived. Maybe that last one. Oh my gosh. But yeah, now the biggest. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, the biggest thing to really come out of this. Well, just going over the match, like, I thought it was a good match, but I think I did prefer the first one more. And then we had Io go back in there because we've been seeing unhinged Io, which was kind of reminiscent of her run in NXT. And she went back in there. She was beaten down on Lyra, and then Caden Card on Katana Chance came out to back up Lyra. So I'm really curious to see exactly why they're doing that. I mean, Cole did mention that Damage Control is the very reason why they lost their tag titles, which is true because right before Royal Rumble, they won the titles off of them. So I guess you could build more off of that. But I'm really curious to see where this Lyra, Katana Chance, Caden Carter, Katana Chance is going to be going. I mean, it honestly seems at this point that with all these like main woman segments that's going on, besides Liv Morgan, it definitely does seem like they're positioning Lyra to be in like Becky's spot, because this what we saw right here is definitely a spot that I could see Becky in if she was still around.
Yeah.
But I'm mainly interested. What came out of this is like what we saw with Io backstage, where Io was like, Damage Control needs change, which it definitely does, because you constantly see them losing matches all the time. And if you want to showcase them being a faction that's actually like a faction you can look at where it's like, okay, maybe we're going to have a couple problems with these people if we run across them. So I like how she's embracing that. So I'm really curious to see what stems off of that and what that leads to, because I like this whole new character change, whole new character arc that Io is going down. It's like, it's definitely interesting. So I'm glad that they're doing something with her. And they're not just having her like go up against people and losing their feuds after she lost the women's championship.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see where this goes to her.
Yeah, and especially like also too with Asuka out with her injury and just recently getting surgery, like they're also down a member too. So it's like, okay, there does need to be change in Damage Control. What do you think the change is gonna be? Because like I was trying to wrap my head around it. I'm just like, okay, well, they could add a member. That could be something. That could be neat. Or, maybe they can get rid of a member. Maybe this is where like we see maybe a turn or like a kick out from Damage Control of maybe like Dakota Kai or something. Like, I don't know. Like, what do you think what do you think the change is going to be with Damage Control?
I don't know if it's going to be Io going off on her own, doing her own thing, or possibly trying to find other members to add to the group that actually elevate them. That's my only sort of speculation that I can think of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like I try to think of like who they would add, and I'm like, okay, who do we have on Raw that could be added to Damage Control? Like, I doubt Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark because they're
No,
kind of in their own thing.
yeah, I don't think so.
Um, I kind of doubt Natalia too because it looks like she's starting something with Sonya Deville. Um, I'm trying to think of who else is on the Raw roster. Oh, I mean, what's her name? Oh, shoot, she just came up from NXT. She's the one that beat Natalia, I think, last week.
Oh, you're talking
Shoot.
about Kiana James?
Okay, it is Kiana James. For some reason, I was getting her mixed up with what's her name that won the women's North American title.
Oh, Kalani Jordan.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. The names are very similar to me, but anyways, Kiana James. I mean, there's her, but I mean, again, she kind of doesn't fit the whole mold of Damage Control either.
Yeah,
Uh,
I personally wouldn't even want that.
I wouldn't either. Like, or maybe they break up Katana Chance and Caden Carter. But even then, it's just like, well, now you're really gutting your women's tag division that's somewhat non-existent, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
I really don't. Maybe it's just a change of attitude with it. Like maybe they just actually like run roughshod around Raw and try to like actually destroy things. Maybe they team up with Liv.
Yeah, you
That
can do that.
that could be a thing, you know, like
Yeah.
that'll give Rhea something to do when she comes back. Like maybe Liv ends up like maybe like Damage Control and Judgment Day. Well, I guess Judgment Day if like some of them betray each other or whatever, but like maybe they kind of form their own like version or like expand the group by combining others to it. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's not a bad thing. I mean, we kind of see that with the Final Testament and AOP.
Yeah, potentially see that.
Yeah. I mean, well, hell, we kind of see it too within Damage Control with like you have Damage Control, but then you also have the Kabuki Warriors that are within Damage Control.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see with that. And I don't know. Let us know in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this after we're live. Let us know down there what you think is going to be the big change for Damage Control. But speaking of big changes, because we had one guy who had a big change a couple weeks ago, that man being Chad Gableton. He had a big change, and he's trying to change the Alpha Academy too by helping him win the IC title. And tonight was another chapter in our story of the Ballad of the Alpha Academy because we had Sami Zayn versus Otis tonight, which this had a lot of storyline elements to it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, so where do we even begin? I guess we'll begin just with our backstage segment because Sammy's just in the back. He's getting ready for his match with Otis, and he does see Maxine and Tazalbo just kind of standing around. And he goes up to them, and it's kind of the same thing that he was saying last week. Like, hey, I've been in your shoes. It's best to get out now before you start feeling worse.
Yeah,
Like,
mentioning things with Bloodline.
mm-hmm. And I'm also glad too, like, this is just another like just good touch of just like their production, but it's like in the character production or like I guess character. I'll just say character work with the superstars because like normally in a segment like this you wouldn't have Otis come in, but we actually did. He came in and he's just like, look, he saw the tape from last week, and I do like too how he gave reason to why he's so loyal to Chad Gable, and the fact he even mentioned Tucker, somewhat Mandy Rose, like the fact he mentioned those two, like that's just a good payoff for the fans that went through WWE through the pandemic era.
Mm-hmm.
And especially with the whole Mandy Rose thing. Like, I know he didn't like fully name drop her, but he at least mentioned his peach. And the fact that he lost all that stuff, like he lost his best friend, he lost the girl of his dreams, he lost his chance to be a big champion in the company by losing the Money in the Bank briefcase. Like, he lost all of that, and the one person to help him through all of that was Chad Gable. And even though they were kind of heel at the time for a bit, they did end up becoming babyface. They ended up becoming good guys again. But like, the fact that Chad was the guy to help him through all that, and now Chad, even with his attitude change, like, Otis can't abandon that,
Mm-mm.
bad. But again, I'm glad like Otis was involved with this backstage segment, because like Sammy was able to at least say some of his piece and just leave it at that. And it brought us to the match, which we had some pre-match promo stuff, but to be honest, it was just kind of the same thing we've been hearing the past few weeks.
Yeah, and I don't really think the match really mattered all that much. It was more of
It
like,
really didn't.
okay, what's going to be going on next with this story? What's Otis going to do in the match? What's Sammy going to do in the match? What's Gable and the rest of the Alpha Academy going to do in the match? That's all it really was at the end of the day. And that's honestly how I personally looked at it, because I'm glad that I believe it was Pat McAfee that mentioned like Stockholm syndrome, which is what I
Yep.
brought up last time when we talked about this last Monday, where Otis is pretty much like, he's pretty much like stuck in Stockholm syndrome,
Yeah.
where it's kind of hard for him to really do anything to Gable, because like he mentioned backstage, like you went over, Gable's his friend. Gable's always been there for him through everything, and if it wasn't for Gable, he doesn't know where he would be, which I can definitely understand where he's coming from, because if you look at it like this in this scenario, it's like, okay, you got your best friend, you grew up with him, you know him ever since you were a little kid, you went through elementary school, middle school, high school, you were still with that person throughout your adult years, you had a family, you had a wife, kids, stuff like that, you're very close to this person, and then all of a sudden it's like that person starts acting different towards you. They start treating you like garbage and stuff like that. And even though you kind of want to walk away, it's kind of hard because of the relationship that you built with that person. It's kind of hard to really walk away from something like that. That's how it is with Otis, where pretty much he's like, I'm pretty sure like Otis is like aware of like what's going on, but like at the same time, it's kind of hard for him to really walk away, because like he said, that's just somebody that he's known for so long. And we know the turn is coming, but it's like when he does turn and he attacks Gable and all of that, it's like he's probably worried of like, oh, how are things going to be from here? Like, are we ever going to be able to patch up things? Or if I ever speak up my mind, are we ever going to be as close as we once were before? So that's definitely something to factor in. And they keep teasing, the stuff with Otis, which I like, because obviously there is a couple times where it catches me off guard, where I'm like, okay, is this going to be the moment where Otis like turns and he finally attacks Gable? But I like how they're keeping the tease up, and I definitely expect it to factor in on Saturday. I mean, I would assume that's probably the payoff, because it didn't really make sense to do it during the triple threat, because even I mentioned before that Bronson just being in that match is great, but I feel like they wouldn't save. But I feel like they'd probably want to wait until they could throw something like even bigger involved, when it's just a singles match between Chad and Sammy, because that's the actual story. It's a personal beef between the both of them. So I definitely expect something to happen on Saturday.
And plus, we were so close tonight for Otis to retaliate. Because like he was there with his fist all up and all that. It's just like we were so close to it and we still didn't get it. And I think part of it too, maybe, is like Otis still thinks that there's good in Chad Gable. And I think that's probably why he stays around, and like why he eventually like kind of does what Chad Gable wants him to do. Because like, I guess in his mind, he figures, well, if Chad does end up getting this IC title, maybe it'll snap him back. Like maybe that could be part of his mindset too. But that could also just be me looking too much into something. But like, it would make sense in Otis's mind though, because like he always seems to be like the kind of character that sees the good in other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Me again, man. So like, we have robots back, so there's not to. Where was I going? Oh yeah, like again, we're still getting like a lot of the sameness with all this. Like, we get the Chad yelling at son of a bitch. What is going on with the robot tonight? Apparently, like, yeah. I don't know, people. Okay, now it's gone. All right, good. Hopefully, it stays gone. Damn robots trying to take over our stream. How could you?
Mm-hmm.
Shoot, now I forgot where I was going with all that. No. Oh yeah. So basically, I mean, it's really just been the same stuff we've been seeing all week or like all month. Like, it's just, is Otis gonna do it? No. Okay. He's still gonna try to like kind of beat up Sami Zayn. Okay. Oh, Chad's gonna kind of cost Otis the match because he doesn't want him to have fun or do anything or just wants to yell at him and all that. Like, it's just the same story beats week in and week out, And I think part of that though is like them trying to get evidence or like more stock footage, I guess, of for like a later video package, for the eventual match that those two will have. But I don't know, just on the weekly though, it's just kind of like, it's the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
let's do something different with it. That would be nice. That would be great. Man. But yeah, I mean, that's all that match was. It was just more of just storyline stuff, But I guess moving on to matches that really don't have much going on for them. We had more for our women's tag team title matches. We basically had the champions Bianca and Jade watching on as Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark basically jobbed out Alba Fire and Isla Dawn.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like when it comes to like the things that I'm not gonna really say much on the show, it's hard for me to really care about the tag titles. Like even the match on Saturday, like I'm not really that interested in because they never really gave me a reason to really care about those tag titles. So I'm not gonna start caring now because those tag titles been around
especially
forever.
now.
Yeah,
like especially now, like you have one of your contenders just squash the other one. Like you've kind of ruined all suspense of disbelief for that match going on. Like, and I'm sure they could do something on Friday to like, Sydney, I swear, girl, don't be moving my table and my light so people can see me. Anyways, oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, you're basically like taking away all suspension of disbelief to like who's gonna win, who's gonna lose, because now we already knew who was gonna win anyways with this match. Like, because there's no way that freaking Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill are gonna drop the titles, even if some other team gets pinned. Like, they're not going to, at least not yet. In fact, we've got another team on SmackDown that's kind of getting built up to take the titles from them. That being Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax.
Yeah,
at least in my opinion.
Oh no, I agree with you that like if I had to choose two people that would probably take it away, it would definitely be them. And the only other thing I could really say about that is I feel like more than likely, at least to me, I would assume Nia's probably going to lose her match at SummerSlam to Bayley, and then she's going to have to find a different path to go down to, at least that's being built up now, so it's not like it came out of the blue. So
Yeah.
then you could have Liv and Nia go up against Bianca and Jade, because you look at it like this. Jade has beef. Jade has beef with Nia, and Bianca has beef with Tiffany. Because if you see the
Hmm.
interactions between Tiffany and Bianca backstage, Tiffany's always making these smartass remarks, and then you see what went on between Nia Jax and Jade Cargill. I mean, the story writes itself. You see what happened at Royal Rumble. You saw the match that they
Yeah.
had for the qualifying match for Queen of the Ring. So it makes perfect sense to put them in a feud, which I
Yep.
feel like that's probably going to be around the time where Jade and Bianca are going to be button heads and around WrestleMania season, and then that's when you
Hmm.
are probably going to get them breaking off. They're either one of them's going to get distracted in the ring, somebody's going to get like a quick roll up, or one of them's going to get annihilator or whatever it is, and then that's how they're
Yeah.
going to lose the titles. It's going to have to be something with them butting heads, and then Nia and Tiffany take advantage of that, and they get the gold that way.
Yep. And not gonna lie, kinda hoping Bianca's the one to take the pin, but that's also
Yeah.
just me being like, hey, keep building Jade up to be
Oh yeah.
the wall of the women's division.
I mean, at least she's not afraid to take one, because she did recently take one
Oh
to
yeah, no.
Nia. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like, oh, she's afraid to take, bumps or take a pin or anything. It's just like, well, it's more of just like at least for the story to tell.
mhm.
But I kind of agree with Vash's fan here. I mean, the titles suck. Like
Yeah, they
there's
really
no
do.
other way to really put it,
Oh, no, I
you
agree,
know?
100%. I don't care about it at all.
Yeah, like yeah, I don't care about the match. I hope it's during a piss break so we could just relax during what is it, Clash of the Castle? But yeah, we'll just wait and see with that one with Clash of the Castle. But then we had one more match because like everything else at least had stories tied to it. But this last match we'll talk about, I mean, it had a story to it, but it also had another story that like I'm kind of getting tired of
Mhm.
ever since WrestleMania. Um, so
I
hey,
can't be
remember how Raw?
and I
Oh,
can't
go
be
ahead.
optimistic about it either.
No, no, not anymore. Not anymore. Because, hey, remember how Raw had a tag team titles?
Mhm.
Remember how they have the world tag team titles?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So apparently they're on the line tonight as Awesome Truth defend against AOP. Yeah. And I see exactly what you're saying, JJ Styles, and I agree. They do need to drop the titles. Like I'm tired of it. I'm done. I'm done with the Awesome Truth. Our Truth had his moment in the sun. He had it for WrestleMania. He had that. We're done. I'm done with it. Let's move on. Let's give the titles to an actual team that can do something, an actual team that can have awesome matches. Like, and I mean, that's nothing really against our Truth and the Miz, but at the same time, it's like there are other teams that can put on compelling matches. Like again, I said this on Friday. Look at Friday's tag team story going on. There's at least something to sink your teeth into with that.
Yep.
Like there's at least something to talk about. Instead, with this, it's like it starts off with Miz always trying to find our truth. And then he finally finds him, and it's just like, yeah, this is happening. It's like, okay, you guys are defending your titles when? You don't
Yeah,
know?
no,
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. It's like they just don't feel like serious contenders. Like, I understood why Truth won it originally, because they wanted to give Truth a WrestleMania moment. I get it, that makes sense. But I was expecting them to drop it maybe like 2 or 3 weeks later after that, or
Yeah.
at least after the draft, and then we could finally have tag team champions that actually like mean something, where they actually elevate the title and they actually like do something with it instead of the title being treated like a joke. Like even just seeing them go up against Authors of Pain, which we know Authors of Pain is a good tag team, and just seeing Miz doing a quick roll up just to roll off Authors of Pain. I mean, thinking about that in itself, it's kind of like really like unrealistic to see people their size losing to like somebody like the Miz and R-Truth, but hey, whatever.
Yeah.
Because I still want to continue that ongoing story with the New Day and the Final Testament. But it's like we definitely need new tag team champions that actually mean something. Like people that I personally want to see is like New Catch Republic having the titles. They would actually be able to elevate it. They are a tag team on Monday Night Raw. I would absolutely love to see them have the titles.
The Creeds.
Yeah, the Creeds as well, which
Like,
I don't know. Which Julius was going around social media recently. I'm not gonna repeat what he did, but I'm not sure if you saw the clips. But
yeah.
I can definitely see them being one, especially like hypothetically, it's like, okay, now that Gable wins the title, let's say hypothetically he wins the title on Saturday, and then he's gonna be like, okay, I don't need you guys anymore, and then he's gonna want fighting champions along his side, and we've seen Gable and the Alpha Academy behind the scenes talking to each other all the time, so those could easily be like a heel tag team going up against R-Truth and the Miz to take the titles, which I feel like would be the better option, especially if you want to build some story there with Chad Gable.
Yeah, but it's just like, what are we doing with the tag division overall? Like, what are we doing? You know, because like the past couple times that they've tried to get number one contenders, they've had fatal 4-way matches, like with the same teams, mind you. I don't know, man. It just see this was my issue. This was my original issue with Awesome Truth even winning in the first place. Like, yes, on one hand, oh yeah, give Truth his WrestleMania moment. Fine, whatever. And I swear, I see that bar. I see that bar on the screen. Do not robot me again, StreamYard, or we're gonna have issues tonight. I swear. Anyways, fine, give him his moment, but like, you could have Zack Rydered him. Like, would it have sucked? Yeah. Would people have complained? Yeah. But guess what? We wouldn't be here right now being like, what is up with the tag division on Raw if you just did something different, or even just did something to begin with. Like, God, man, it's kind of aggravating at a point. Like, and I mean, again, this was always my worry with having, like, because I'm not gonna lie, for me, the tag division, I would have much preferred floating champions like we have with the women's tag division, because at least like you could have still built like some stories with teams that aren't going for a title. Like, you could still have stories going on. You could still have like a tag division being built up and like having us care about a tag division without having the need for a title. And then like you could have still had the title like being defended on a Raw or SmackDown or a big PLE or whatever. Like, this was just always my worry with it, because it's like, what do you do with all these champions? Because obviously some of them are going to be pushed to the wayside, and that's what's happening right here. The world tag titles are happening with that. The women's tag titles are happening like that. Logan Paul, which he's doing some stuff with the US title, but when you look at it on paper, he's defended that title how many times? Like 2 or 3 in the how many months that he's held that thing? Like, people wanted to get on Roman about his stuff. Look at freaking Logan Paul right now. At least the IC title's still doing something since Mania, but I mean, even then, it's the same 3 people going after it since WrestleMania. Like, and we're already in June. Like, or I mean, I say that, and it's only been like 2 months or whatever, but it's like, it kind of feels longer though because of the whole weekly episodic deal with it, It's just, God, man, I just want a little bit more from it. That's all I want. That's all I care about. Just give me just a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I mean, oh gosh, I'm looking at the notes right now, and I'm like, wow, that was actually Raw. Like that again. Raw was fine, I guess. Like it's not like it was a bad show because like I know I've gone on record saying sometimes the third hour can drag a little bit, but I don't. At least for me, I don't think it dragged this week. Oh man, I don't know. What do you think, Drop? How did you think of Raw this week?
Like I said before, just the main stories that I focus on, like what's going on with Liv, the stuff going on with Braun, and then the stuff going on with Otis, Sammy, and Chad. That's honestly all I really cared for. And of course, the stuff that went on with Lyra. Those are basically like my overall thoughts that I talked about throughout the show.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm kind of the same way. Like I gave a crap about the Judgment Day stuff. Like I wanted to know about that stuff. I cared about like the whole Ricochet, Braun Breaker, Ilya Dragunov thing, which I'm actually kind of sad about because like they had that little backstage segment with Ricochet going up to Dragunov and be like, "Hey, I'll have your back, buddy." And Dragunov's just like, "Hey, when I'm done with Braun, me and you again." And I'm just looking at that like, man, uh, we're not gonna get Ilya Dragunov versus Ricochet again.
Mm-mm.
Damn it,
At least we
son of
got
a
it.
bitch. Yeah, at least we got it once. Well, twice, I guess, until Braun
Yeah.
messed that one up. But I mean, yeah, like the things we cared about, like we talked about, we were actually able to kind of dive into a little bit, but like everything else it just feels the same. Like it's like the same things being said. It's the same story beats being done. Like a few nuances here and there, but it's like a lot of it's just kind of the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but who knows? Maybe SmackDown will change our minds. Who knows? Maybe next week's Raw will change our minds because there's a possibility we could have a new world champion. That possibility is kind of it's less than half, probably less than 30%. But hey, maybe it's not less than 10%. I don't know. I haven't checked the betting odds yet, but we'll have to just tune in on Saturday to see. Because hey, Clash of the Castle Saturday, and this was our go home show, our go home Raw for Clash of the Castle. Oh
All
boy,
right.
yep. But yeah, so a bit of a short one this time around, everybody. But hey, nothing wrong with that. We've all got well, I don't know about all of us, but a good chunk of us probably have work in the morning. So, you know what? I think I'm just going to leave it there. What about you, Drop? Do you have any final words for this week's edition of Raw?
No, I pretty much gave all my thoughts earlier, so that's all I really have to say.
Yeah, yeah. Again, just a lot of the same, I guess. But you know what? I do want to thank everybody for coming out this week for our Monday Night Raw coverage. Um, Again, bit of a short one this week, but it's all good. We can't all have bangers after bangers after bangers. Perhaps we'll have some more bangers later on this week. Who knows? Time will tell. But again, just want to thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to the Weebs of the Ring podcast. If you enjoyed what we had to say, be sure to check out the description down below. Check out all of our links to all of our socials, all of our individual channels, all the stuff that we have to do because the team is always busy bringing out content that you will hopefully enjoy. And if you don't enjoy, hey, that's fine too. Let us know what you didn't enjoy because maybe we can tweak things a little bit. Maybe we can make things a little better, make the experience even more heartwarming for you. But just remember, we are known as AniMa W3 Studio on all social media platforms. Just remember that's we with a 3. Also, use the hashtag Weebs of the Ring to interact with us about anything regarding wrestling before, during or after our shows. Feedback is always appreciated, like I just said, because, hey, we're nothing without you guys, and we love to continue to grow and be better. Weebs of the Ring is presented by AniMa W3 Studio, thanks to our production team of Vash, Walk-ins, Drop This Box, Rome, and Jokester, as well as special thanks to JB and Abe. Thank you for joining us, and remember, no stunt grannies were harmed in the recording of this podcast. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good one, guys.